맞아요.
맞아요.
그거 스토리 중에 겁나 소름 돋던 스토리가 하나 있어가지고
일단 저
잘 맞는
여기
스토리.
좀
네네.
끌게요. 마이크.
오케이.
네.
시작을 아예 이렇게 하네. 오. 여기로 왔었고.
I'm sure my mom was trying to protect me.
무거워. 에피소드 하나만 보면 되겠지?
Maybe she was afraid I'd end up like Walter.
근데 혼자서 오래 살았는데 먹을 거는
But if she never told me about an uncle under the house,
어떻게
I can only imagine what else she was hiding.
여기서 다 수급한 거 아니야?
I don't want to make the same mistakes she made. Trying to bury something that's still alive.
잠깐만. 기차가 나오진 않겠지?
Now that there's only one of us left, or maybe two,
한 명, 두 명? 얘 혼자
I thought
나온
it
거
was
아니었어?
time I heard the stories for myself
두 번째 들어.
and found out what happened to everyone else. But now I'm worried the stories themselves might be the problem. Maybe we believed so much in a family curse, we made it real.
일로 빠지지 못하겠지? 막상
I don't know if I should even be writing this.
월터 다음은 누굴까?
Maybe it'd be better if all this just died with me. But I thought you should know about your family.
내가 누구야? 여기서 너는 누구냐?
And the history you're a part of. Though to be honest, I feel as lost as you probably do right now.
누구한테 얘기하는 거지 이게?
I think the people in these stories believed them, for what that's worth.
에디스 핀치잖아요. 에디스 핀치. 근데 이 사람이 자꾸 너라고 하고 막 그러는 거 보면 나한테 한
And when
소리
you
안
look at the
되고.
house, had that history of imagination and stubbornness and madness.
딴 사람 있는 것 같은데.
Any of it seems possible.
아, 월터처럼? 몰라요. 지금 찾아가야 해요. 지금 독백이죠, 지금은. 주인공의 독백. 독백이 자꾸 딴 사람이 있는 것 같아. 좀 말해서 뭔가 다른 사람의 흔적이라 하나? 다른 사람한테 하는 말이 아이고 뭐야. 오른쪽이겠지?
I think we've been surrounded by
저번에
death for so
말씀하셨던
long we've just gotten
갈래길
used to
나오면
it.
자꾸 고민되네. 죽음의 블러스타일.
What kind of family finishes building a cemetery before starting the house?
묘지가 있다고? 아우 미치.
It's embarrassing for me to admit this, but The pet cemetery made me more uncomfortable than the human one.
너피
3
중에
of the gerbils are mine.
버피, 첫피,
2 had been
퍼피.
my fault.
너무 대충 된 거 아니야? 코코, 찰리, 데이지, 조. 연도까지 적어놨네?
Sven built the house, but it was Edie who designed the cemetery.
이거는 사람의 묘지예요. 몰리. 고양이 됐다, 새 됐다가 괴물된. 칼비는 날라가서 죽었고, 스펜은 뭐해 죽었지? 스펜은 아직 안 나와서 스펜은 안 나왔고, 컵에 썰려 죽었나? 왜 이렇게 되지? 에디는 제일 오래 살았죠. 월터는 뭐야 이거 기차 치여 죽은 것 같은데. 바바라는 뭐라 얘기하냐.
I'm sure Odin's monument had been Edie's idea. My mom was always trying to move on, but
어딨니?
for Edie, the past never went away.
선조죠 여기선. 과거가 사라지지 않았다.
She could see it poking out of the water at low tide.
뭐냐 저건?
Edie said she dreamed about the old house every night.
아 집이 칭도됐구나. 뭐야 끝이야? 아이씨 뭔가 했네. 야야 길. 아 잠깐 뭐하지?
Edie's side was always easier for me to understand. But the older I get, the
오딘이
more I can
넘어올
see where my
때
mom was coming from.
가라앉은 집이네. 오딘은 그때 죽었고 에디랑
She lost 2 of her brothers, just like I did. I get why she tried so hard to protect us.
지키려고 그러네. 형제구나. 에디가 남아서 집을 짓고 생각보다
There's so many
능력자네.
things I wish I could ask my mom now. Part of me thinks this is what she wanted all along. For me to come back someday
못
and
본
find
거던데.
everything out for myself.
그래 좋다.
But looking back on it now,
저장이 떴어.
if she told me there was going to be so much climbing, I
그래.
never would have come when I was 22 weeks pregnant.
와 임신? 임신했다고? 설마 얘기 독백이 다 자기 애 한다는 얘기인가? 어떻게 올라가? 야 올려 보내줘. 아 여기 있구나.
I never met Grandpa Sam, but I think he and my mom had a lot in common.
쌤 여기 있네. 저런 거 일어날 것 같아.
They were both pretty intense.
쌤. 뭐냐 이거.
Dawn, I promise, you'll never forget this weekend.
야.
Yes, sir.
These memories are gonna last a lifetime.
Am I gonna have to shoot anything?
It's a hunting trip, Dawn. Shooting is strongly encouraged.
Shouldn't we be leaving?
Just want to get a shot of you, Dawn, then we can take off.
하도 뭐지? 막 찍어? 아 야야.
I'm over here, Dad.
뭘 원하는 거야? 아버지가. 아 확대. 아이고.
Just need to get a shot of you, Don, then we can hit the road.
뭐 찍어라 했지? 보리님 하신 거예요, 예전에? 아니야, 근데 뭘 찍어야 해? 아이, 초점 맞추기 너무 빡센데? 아야, 놓쳐. 아,
What?
작기를 찍으라고?
Perfect.
그랬네, 씨.
It's gonna rain the whole weekend, isn't it? I will never forget this weekend, Dad.
That's
왜
the spirit.
무섭냐.
Okay, got it.
I'm gonna take some pictures, okay?
Just be careful. That camera's older than you are.
아이를 찾자. 여기 없고.
You're right, Dad. It's starting to clear up. Still freezing, though.
애가 어딨냐. 어딨지? 아, 애가 어딨냐고. 아이씨.
Definitely should not have drunk all that coffee.
옆에도. 오른쪽에 있겠고, 아니네.
Nothing quite like being outside.
아니, 미친, 어딨어. 아이야, 아, 저 있다. 애가
What's
찍는 거야.
delicious?
Hey!
That's a keeper.
반대였구나.
I'm just saying, I'm not always gonna be here, Don. You'll need to remember this stuff, if you want to survive.
I'll be fine, Dad.
You know who else thought he was gonna be fine?
Some guy who died.
Don, I'm being serious.
I know, Dad. You're always serious. Doesn't being out here make you want to chill out?
Well, to tell you the truth, I haven't been out here in 20 years.
이야기를 하니까 들어주시.
Don, don't you think you could find something more interesting to photograph?
어떤 거. 흥미로운 게 뭐냐고요.
Last time I was with my brother Calvin.
이건가?
Man, that was a great trip.
아니,
Your
흥미로운 거
grandpa's
알려줘.
Fen taught us how to fish, how to build a fire.
스팸, 할아버지. 아이, 답답하네, 씨.
We found an old logging trail with deer everywhere.
아이, 대답.
I bet if I could remember where that trail was, we'd spot a buck for you.
Dad!
Good eyes, Don.
얘를 잡는 거구나. 아닌가? 얘인가? 아버지. 갑시다, 제발. 뭘 해야 해요. 아이씨. 뭐지? 아, 이거였네.
Before you take the shot, let me get a picture of you.
내가 내 사진을 찍자.
Dad, I.
Let me get behind you.
아, 정상적인 소리가 없는 거
Do I
보면
have to do
불안한데.
this?
Don, you don't have to do anything. But if you want to survive, you'll need to be... Great shot, Don!
뭐야? 왜 이러고 있어?
I'm proud of you, Don. Always remember that, okay?
Dad, it's twitching. I think
That's
it's
totally
sick.
normal, Don. Just focus on the camera. Try not to think about...
Dad!
아이, 깜짝아. 이렇게 갔구나, 쌤의.
Of all these stories, that's the one I wish most that my mom had told me.
누구 잘못이라 해야 하냐. 아니면
Instead of hiding from death, Sam seemed to go out of his way to meet it.
그나마 좀 정상적인
Sam spent his
느낌?
life shooting photos, but Mom said he got nervous being in front of the camera. I guess we're all afraid of something.
열리네. 난 집에 진짜 뭔 이런 것도 다 있냐? 이것도 말이 안 돼. 뭔가 이상하단 말이야. 뭐야? 아니네. 아,
After Sam
임산부가
died, my mom and Edie got really close. They'd both lost a lot.
임산부가 이러고 다니네. 신기해. 아씨 깜짝아, 저 애 진짜 애인 줄 알았어. 이거 하신 거죠? 다른 데서 찍은 이건 아까 봤던 거. 그래요? 업데이트가 됐나?
Dear Kay, do you remember the way Gregory used to laugh when he thought he was alone?
있는 건가?
Like something funny was happening, but
아니.
only he could see it. I think he saw things the rest of us don't.
뭐냐 이거. 오야. 아 이거 조정하는 거라고?
Time's over, Gregory. It's time to... Hold on, sweetie. Hello?
내가 참 토시라구나.
Sam, I told you I don't want to talk right now.
I wonder what he saw.
설마 이거 만지는 건 아니겠지? 이걸로? 점프 맞춰야 해 이걸? 저기요. 너무 어렵다고요. 앞 상하가 지금 구별이 안 되는데. 야, 애 진짜 능력자다.
He reminded me so much of
하나만
Cal.
하면 되네. 뭐야?
Lost in his imagination. Whatever it was, he saw.
나한테 저거 조정하는 거. 야, 모여라.
It sure made him happy.
아이, 뭐야, 이게. 그러니까, 그런 거 같아. 야, 이제 안 모여? 모여라, 얘들아. 이거 태우는 거였구나. 오야.
I know how silly it sounds. But I worried about a baby being too happy.
심상치가 않죠?
But I could
거품을
feel her
내는
slipping
건가?
away.
Sorry about that, Gregory.
어디
I
갔어?
know you did everything you could.
엄마는 왜 이걸 못 봐?
Maybe if I hadn't called that night.
애 어디 갔냐? 팔.
Hold on, I don't want Gregory to hear this.
I wish he could have told us. about the world he saw.
그러네. 있다네. 진짜 있다요.
There's so much I don't understand. About Gregory. About everything. But I know what happened wasn't your fault.
돌보면서 한 거지. 못 나가죠?
I'm sure he's happy. And he'd want you to be happy too.
이 연출은 무슨 의미인지 파악이 잘 안 돼.
Good luck, Kay. Love, Sam.
샌피치. 그래서 이렇게 꾸며놨구나. 한 살짜리야, 와. 한 살짜리예요. 어? 들어가야 할 것 같은데. 바이오하자드.
I can't imagine my mom ever writing poetry, and yet
거스를 위한
A poem for Gus, who always said the wedding was a bad idea.
에디는 마지막에
Our
나올
father
거예요.
never hit us kids, at least.
왜냐면은 제일 오래 살았거든. 증조 할머니죠? 이분이 보조 할아버지라고 했으니까 증조 할머니인데 여기서 레위스랑 같은 날에 죽었어. 같은 연도에. 아마 제일 오래 살아서 마지막에 나올 것 같아.
Not very hard. Before the day my brother said with teenage disregard that he'd be dead before he'd see a wedding in our yard.
야, 연 오랜만에 날리고 싶다. 보내봐.
My father made him come, of course, but Gus stood far apart, just flew his kite and bottled up the storm inside his heart. I tried to talk him out of it, but though he'd never met her, we don't need a stepmom were the words that I know.
말로. 결혼식 하는 거였구나. 내가.
When the time for photos came, Dad ordered him to come here. But Gus declined and as a sign held up his middle finger.
참.
The wind picked up and panicked geese appeared and quickly went. But all the humans did that day was go inside the tent.
불안한데 또 펜타노를 만들어가지고. 오, 야야.
The rain came down in buckets then, but no one seemed afraid that nature might destroy the tent our dad had crudely made.
파괴하러 다니는.
The thunder sounded much too close and full of angry power. But all my father said to this was, "Make the music louder."
닭봉이하러 간다. 바랬다고 이걸 바랬다. 야.
I wish that I could truly say I thought about you on that day. Out there on the beach alone, just you, the wind, the sea and foam. But I didn't. Until we found you.
발견했다는데. 13살?
she never talked about him, but Mom told me once if I
겉은
was
좀
a boy,
애매하네.
they were going to
어떻게
name
죽은
me
거지?
Gus.
날라간 다음에 시차 나중에 발견한 거. 그런 느낌인데. 뭐네요. 문이 다 닫았네. 근데 이렇게 당했으면 뭐 어떡해. 다
My mom moved up to the loft after her
그런
brothers
거
died.
같죠? 날라다니는 물건이 많이.
At the time, it was as far away as she could get.
갈 수 있는 곳이었다. 집에 무슨 비밀 공간이 이렇게 많아.
She spent a summer building houses in Calcutta, where she met my dad, Sanjay.
건산지.
My mom moved to India a week after graduation and got a job teaching English. Louis
산지가
was born a
일본
year
아니
later.
인도인인가 보네. 로이스로 읽는 건가? 확인 해봐야겠다. 엄마가 낳은 로이스면은 얘밖에 없는데 맞는 것 같아. 나이 차이 좀 나는데 그래도. 아 내려가. 아 막혔구나.
When my dad died, I don't think mom knew where else to go.
던
I'm sure Edie was happy to have her back
맞네. 에디스.
and to see kids in the house again.
산제이 밑에 길 없던데요? 자 있다고? 밑에 아니 뭐에 못 가요. 책이 있다고? 이건 비료포대 같은데?
The house had to get a little
깜짝이야.
bigger, but Edie was used to that.
그거는 뭐 책에? 근데 그거 못 봤어요 지금.
And for a while, things were good. Almost normal.
저기 수업하는 데 같은데? 뭐야 집이 왜 진짜 부자
But it didn't last.
이 에피소드 하나 뭐
The beginning of the end was Milton's 10th birthday, when Edie gave him a castle.
성을 좀. 옆에 이 무슨 문은 잠궈놨는데 뚫고 들어갈 거 다 있어. 집인 거 같고. 신기하네. 밀턴. 형제죠, 형제.
Milton Finch in The Magic Paintbrush.
어떻게 봐? 잠깐만. 다시 처음부터 못 보네. 뭐야? 내가? 응? 아이씨, 이게 뭐야?
I was 4 when Milton disappeared.
2003년은 4살 맞지. 아 진짜 저렇게 사라진 거 아니에요? 그거? 내가 봤을 때 그 바바라도 그렇고 몰리도 그렇고 누구였지? 쌤 말고 그 용 미끄럼틀 그분이 스벤인가? 그쪽도 그렇고 실제로 그렇게 일이 있었던 것 같아요. 오디는
Mom spent months searching for my brother. Then she sealed the doors.
오디는 오다가 죽었죠. 집 침몰하면서 저 집 침몰하면서.
Whatever Milton had found in the house, Mom didn't want it getting out.
집에서 발견되기를 바라지 않았다는 건가? 발견됐다는 건가?
After Milton disappeared, the only thing he left behind was a room full of
아, 자꾸
paintings.
그걸 취소하네. 올라간 게 올라가.
Mom definitely blamed Edie, but I think Lewis blamed himself.
엄마의 엄마를 비난했다. 진짜야 하는데.
After he graduated, he just spent more and more time in his room. Until Mom got him a job at the cannery.
저장을 하고 자고. 야, 뭐냐 이거. 저장이 떠야 하는데 저장이 안 떠. 출발 전에 저장 뜨겠다 뭐. 아, 됐다. 잠시다. 그래도 길질 않아서 많이 했네. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 4개 했는데 오늘 뭐 충격적인 내용은 없었고 길진 않았으니까. 얘네 둘이 문제였지. 진짜
Lewis's room smelled
길어요? 얼마나 길어요? 하고 자야겠다.
very, very familiar. That part of him lived on. Lewis and I spent a lot of time playing games together, but he was surprisingly bad at them. He died a lot.
로이스라는 거였구나.
Dear Mrs. Finch, as Lewis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation. As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse. Newly sober, I believe Lewis first noticed the monotony of his daily life.
피가 아니구나, 자기가.
He kept working at the cannery, but he withdrew part of himself. In our sessions, I saw the same behavior. His mind began to
야.
wander.
아,
I asked him to describe it. He said he started small, imagining a labyrinth.
손이 나가겠네.
He'd feel his way about. Then something moved. Bats. And toads.
나가는 거 보고 싶지 않은데.
And things that have not names.
진행이 안 될 거 아니야.
He knew it was all in his head. But he took it very seriously. I had hoped he'd find himself. But he found something more. I worried about him then. Daydreaming at the cannery. I spoke with his boss.
안 떨어지겠어.
But he said Lewis had become a model employee. Methodical, tireless, focused. Like a whole new Lewis.
팔 좀 조심해서 가봐요.
So I let him go on. I even encouraged him.
점점 동상이 확대돼서
It seemed very promising at first.
안 보일 때 잘리겠구만.
He told me he'd made a new friend.
마음에 안 들어.
On the edge of a city he named Louis Topia.
아씨, 깜짝 놀랐네.
He built the city up slowly, brick by brick. Then he made musicians.
왕이 될 상의로 보이다.
And songs for
안
them to
보여.
play.
아예 이쪽이.
He talked about starting a band. And he was always humming something. Every day his imagination grew stronger. He no longer spoke at the cannery, but his chopping was as reliable as ever. Then one day it struck him
아,
that all the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet,
무서워.
were all in his imagination. So he could do whatever he wished.
뭐 하려고 그랬대.
He held an election for mayor. And he won.
갑자기 말로?
They begged him to stay, but his mind was already wandering. It became a game for him.
아, 뭐야. 거의 아예 또 나가는 거야?
He'd conquer a city, then immediately push on. New Louisville.
넌 또 뭐냐? 루이스 뭐냐?
St. Louis. He started drifting away from our reality.
많이 멀어졌어. 아, 양손 조작은 힘들다. 딴
Minneapolis. Until one day he forgot to go home from the cannery. Even as his mother pleaded with him, part of Louis kept sailing on.
뭐 앞에서 이러고 있어. 아예 보이진 않는 거.
In Louisburg, he heard rumors of a
루이스버그. 아니 이거는 나는 아 잠깐만 일로 가야 해?
beautiful prince.
안돼 나 남자라고. 아이고가 잘못
The prince was on his own quest for
아 사악한 놈. 저러 가기 귀찮은 게
sinister
아니고
serpents.
이거 나 진짜 손가락 잘리는 거. 아이고 통화야 그냥
He followed the sound of his
뭐야 하프
silver harp.
위기감 보조되는 음악.
His chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon. Even then, his logic remained sound.
뭐냐 이거 미친 아
He knew the world
잘
was all in
보이지도
his
않아.
imagination.
싫어.
But he was so proud of having created it.
아이씨, 위기감이 보조된다 이거.
In his own eyes, he'd become something greater than a king.
제발.
For someone who'd never known success in the real world, I think it was overwhelming.
제발. 안
And
돼.
then it struck him that the
이것만은
real Lewis was not the one chopping salmon, but the
너였어?
one climbing the steps of a golden palace.
아, 진짜.
My imagination is as real as my body, he told me. It was hard to argue with him. We began to forget the world we know.
어떻게 된 거야?
I think it pained him to remember Lewis, the cannery worker.
저기 있네, 본인. 왜 혼자 일하냐? 아, 불안해 죽겠다 이거.
He began to despise the man with a royal contempt.
뭐야? 올라가야 하나?
I still thought I could save him.
뭐야?
Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder. The palace would be packed with his companions. Including the wise Calico who'd insisted on inviting him. His prince waited, holding his crown. There was only one thing left to do.
단 한 가지.
Bend down his head.
야, 이거 머리 가지잖아.
And the rest I think you know. Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
통혼이 아니고 목을 들이는 거야?
My brother was really cool.
아이씨.
I wish you could have met him.
와. 손이라 생각한 게 되게 단순한 거였네. 헐. 게임을 좋아하는 친구였네. 와우 했나? 그러니까 이상해요. 화자는 에디슨데 자꾸 누가 있어 지금. 근데 임신했다고 하는 거 보니까 자기 뱃속 애한테 하는 말인 것 같아요, 제 생각에. 제 생각이 그래요. 일단은 여기까지 하고, 근데 거의 끝난 것 같긴 하네. 뭐야 이거. 맞다. 이거랑 비슷한 게임 찾았는데 제가 카톡으로 보내도록 하겠습니다. 여기서 보여드릴까? 게임 제목 찾으려면은 보내는 게 낫겠죠. 나중에 핀치 잘라서 올리는 게 낫겠다. 핀치는 다 잘라서 업로드하는 걸로 하고 이만. 꿀벌레시 꿀범 장전 기대하면서 자러 가보도록 하겠습니다. 프로젝트 윈터 재밌긴 할 것 같다. 전에 할인 기간이었구나. 근데 저런 게임이 문제가 나중 혼자 남았을 때가 문제야. 제가 저런 같지 않은 게임 몇 개 사긴 했거든요. 근데 진짜 친구들이 가니까 손이 안 가. 하나도 손이 안 가. 퍼즐 게임도 나중에 이거 해야겠다. 제가 제일 지금 끌리는 게 불소레트는구나. 이거 지금 폰게임으로 살까 여기서 살까 고민 중이에요. 근데 왜 폰게임이랑 가격이 다르지? 폰게임은 되게 싸거든요. 아이튠즈에서 파는데 아이튠즈 가격이 얼마지? 아이튠즈 가격? 아이튠즈는 5,900원이야. 할인 없이. 볼륨 차이가 있나? 저도 소장용으로 사고 싶은 거니까. 17년 게임 오래되긴 했네요. 이런 건 좀 소장하고, 근데 볼륨이 작다는 말은 들었어요. 저건. 어쨌든 시작 가보겠. 가야겠다. 갈게요. 맞아. 다회차가 안 되고 그렇다고 볼륨이 1회차 볼륨도 크지도 않고 해가지고 전이 같은 거. 전이는 그래도 재밌게 했는데. 네, 자야죠. 근데 저 다운받고 자요. 가겠습니다.